So this is the Scott's Case Files channel, and this is our first episode of Blades in the Dark role-playing game. And I want to introduce the cast real quick. So, from upper left here, Steve. Steve is excited to be here. He doesn't show it. He conceals his emotion very well. Then we have Cassie. Cassie is also relatively in control of her emotions. Good job. We have Dr. Oculari over here. Like more exuberance. Good job. We're working our way up. Continuity, don't let me down. Right on the side here.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Excellent. Good job. Cool. So preface. We recorded we streamed and recorded a session 0, but I messed up, and the players side of the audio did not go through on the stream. Therefore, it did not get recorded. Sucks. And one of the reasons that sucks is, like, again, one of the reasons I make this want to do these real plays, live plays on the channel is to, as like an information, kind of like see it before you play it, get a feel for it before you play it, instructional type of thing. And session 0 where you're creating everything is really important, especially in this game. It's again, it's the fulcrum that everything else turns off of. So it sucks, but here we are, session 1. So I figured I would just start off real quick, not real quick necessarily, but if we could do some character introductions, just to kind of give any viewers kind of an idea of what we're working with here. So, why don't we start with, I'll start calling you, as we're in the game, I'm going to call you by your character names as opposed to out of character names. So let's start with Adrian Cross. Tell us about your character. This is the thing that you fear at all role-playing game conventions, the tell me about your character thing. So, but here I actually want you guys to do it, so please indulge us.
Oh no. So Adrian Cross was actually Scotland military, former Scotland military. They were the last nation to be inducted by the Empire, and recently there was a major civil war between the Empire as a whole and Scotland, which they lost, which ended due to an assassination. After that, he went quiet. He went dark. He fought as a member of the militia, as a commander, and he is very much would be considered a traitor by the Empire if they ever learned of his background. So he's been keeping quiet, taking odd jobs, working as a nameless laborer, until he found the goddess Solanas. With her,
which we'll get into.
yes. She gave him new purpose. He has dedicated himself to her. She gave him an opportunity to reinvent himself and find a new path forward that didn't end in the bottom of a beer keg or the barrel of a rifle.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Fish.
Oh my!
That's you.
That was that. Yeah, I know. That was elaborate, way beyond what I've thought through so far.
That's
Uh,
all right. And it's another thing. Another cool thing about this is I think you guys are 4 very different gamers, so it's kind of awesome to see you guys come together in this game and see how you present it. So I think that's
yeah.
also a cool thing for this. And this is a teaching tool. This is a also an entertainment and teaching tool. But yeah, so yeah, please indulge us.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably somewhat, like my writing style, the pantser versus planner type, and definitely a pantser. Fish is my character's nickname. My character's actual name is Stowe Penryn, which thankfully I can read it here, so I don't have to remember what name it. This is a fairly young person, probably late teenager, who uh, grew up, I think, on the streets. It was, in this whole thing of picking what your background is. It could have been urgent, it could have been trade, but there's a reason why I went with trade, which is that this person discovered at an early age that among other less notable things, that they could hold their breath for a long time. And since there's so much water involved, in the city, it really helped him or this person gravitate toward water. So that at some point they talked themselves into being like I'm not sure what it would be called. Assistant is probably too grandiose a name to a gondolier. Uh, Basically, they became the kid who would wash the boat and take care of all the busy work. Uh, and as a way to basically get off of the street. And at some point, for reasons I'm not entirely sure yet, because he could hold his breath, one of the things he certainly liked to do is to, dive and explore, the under the water. He got at one point he got trapped, almost died, and had started it started a series of visions that this person would have when they were underwater, uh, and that led to what's led to a certain kind of naive epiphany uh, about the God that we're end up following. That's kind of what I know about this person so far.
Cool. Now, how did he become a lurk? Where did he get his stealthy skills? At what point, living on the streets, trying to stay off the streets?
Uh, I think that Lurk, in a way, perhaps I picked Lurk for, I'm not sure. The fact that you asked that question makes me think maybe I was thinking about these roles differently.
Mhm.
That Lurk doesn't necessarily mean that at some point Sko said, "Whoa, I'm a Lurk." It's more like that's that's just who he is. He grew up having to survive on the streets, talked himself into a job. Uh, just the whole diving underwater thing is a way of uh, well, sort of unconsciously lurking in a sense. So
Gotcha.
I don't, yeah, so I don't think it's like at some point he said, "Whoa, I'm a lurk." It's just that I think that's a pretty good description of who this person is.
Cool. Awesome.
I should also here. I'm trying to. This is also somebody. I'm going to keep making this mistake all the time. This is somebody who I'm trying to conceive of as essentially having a non-gendered personality.
Sure.
I'm trying to say they instead of he, but I'm always messing up and calling this person a he. But anyway, there we go.
Cool. All right. We'll keep that in mind. So yeah, and I just want to point out that Dr. Aquilari is showing off penultimate bravery. This is his very first role playing experience, and he's doing it live on a stream that will then be preserved on YouTube for all eternity until all computers break down and the YouTube servers blow up or whatever.
Oh,
So my hat's off to
maybe
you, buddy.
maybe I'm going to have to change my mind.
Okay. And then we blotted out the camera. Cool. So thank you for taking that leap with us, Guy. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure.
Cool. Next, Junker, the Leech. Tell us the story. You're muted, by the way. You're still muted. Oop.
Am I?
Oop, there you go.
Oh, okay. There
Now
we
you're good.
go. Okay, yeah. Junker or Talker Kaisarian is a Severosi leech. She basically grew up in a crumbling arcane fortress, basically in Severos, reading about all these old books about arcane and occult lore from before the
For the cataclysm.
before the cataclysm and stuff, and she was with the Severosi people as they basically went around and looted a bunch of ruins.
Yeah. Now, she herself is Severosi, right?
Yes.
Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. Please continue.
And she just learned by scavenging old pieces of magic and trying to rebuild it and learn from it. Eventually, she decided that she learned all she could with the resources she had there, so she moved to Duskwall. And um, I mean, I imagine she probably studied in the Sparkrite Tower
Ooh,
for a while, which is
nice.
kind of the the kind of like the magical engineering type tower in Duskwall. They study like spectrology and learn how to build these weird mechanical creatures called what are they called? Husks, or I think
Hulls?
Yeah,
You mean the hull? Yeah.
hulks.
Hulks,
Yes,
yeah.
No, hull. The hull.
hulks.
Hull, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's it. And I think that her unique views on combining like ancient magic and modern science did not endear her to her colleagues. So she eventually had to leave that profession. Um, and I think that her connection to the cult is through her like Severosi upbringing. That she just they had all kinds of gods and goddesses they worship. So she was just this is just a continuation of that for her, I think.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. And last but certainly not least, Ramira Brogan.
Yeah, so I'm playing Ramiro Brogan, who is a Akarosian from the great city of Duskwall here, and used to be a noble before his merchant fleet, his family's fleet, perished at sea after the navigator had been given way too many drugs. And while clinging to a bunch of wreckage and flotsam in the waters, he had his own encounter with Shanas and decided to follow her. She also gifted him with the ability to consort with ghosts, so he can talk to and relate to them, really regardless of their state. Even if they're violent and aged, he can still relate to them.
Cool. How did the slide thing come about?
Well, as a merchant, just it's natural to want to part people from their money.
Right? Merchant, noble, quasi-government official-ish. I understand.
His alias is Peacock. He does have a penchant for fine clothing and in abundance. The richer it can look, the better, because it's really the only thing he has left of being a noble is, how he can present himself.
Cool. Yeah, I'll update. I didn't see the nickname, so I'll update that later or next time. So awesome. Cool. So let's segue briefly into the video I worked really hard on, even though it's very amateurish and short. But I do one of these for every campaign I do, so you guys have to endure it. Fuck it. Alrighty, let's see. Oh, there you go. The introduction movie. Cool. And we're back. So awesome. So let's see here. So we've introduced characters. We already have the crew set up. You guys are cultists. And the goddess you worship is goddess of moon and water, or the tides. And yeah, so you're cultists. So I figured we'd start with a quick quasi flashback scene, just to kind of set the mood. And I kind of want you, again, think about your characters as we go through this. But let's set the scene. So you guys, in this scene, you guys are all standing rather, in a circle. You're in what amounts to like you're in a cavern filled with water up to the point. So you guys are basically up to your lower chest area in seawater. Every now and then you can actually feel things slithering around your feet and legs, and God knows what that is. Goddess in this case. And it's just black water. Now, up above you, surrounding you are basically robed acolytes of the goddess. In the center, there's a raised platform, kind of like in the center, a circle, as if you could actually put something on there, altar or what have you, or maybe perhaps an altar itself. And you are filthy. You're dirty. You're tired. You're hungry. You're thirsty, and maybe you drank the water, and that wasn't a very smart thing, and things are happening in your body because of it. But you've been undergoing this ordeal for a long time. It seems like forever. It's easily probably 2 days you've been sitting here in the same situation. You guys are on the verge. You're kind of where it's obvious, if you kind of step away from the scene, it's obvious that this is where the priests want you. This is the frame of mind that they want you in. And one of them actually steps forward and draws back her cowl, and looks down at you, and there's this smile on her face. Just this satisfied, crazy smile that, finally, as if you're like a project to her, finally you've gotten to the place where she wanted you to be. If she was an artist, this painting would almost be done, but it would have all its life and everything, but not quite. Two acolytes come from behind her, and one is carrying basically a decanter of coals, and the other a long branding iron. And in front of you, they basically put one to the other. The brand starts heating up. You can, it's kind of hard to see. You can smell that smell in the air, that carbon that comes when metal is heated, and eventually you can start to see the red go up the stem of the thing. And she basically, they start chanting this language that you don't understand, but somehow you do. You get it. You are about to become closer to the goddess than you could have on your own. You could have before, but now you have not only these other people around you, but you have each other when you didn't before. So each in turn, you guys, they basically take out the brand and show it to each of you, and each in turn they ask, "Are you ready to accept the goddess?" And the lady starts with Ramira, and you can feel the heat of the brand just inches from your chest.
I am.
Yeah, no hesitation. Center of your chest now bears a mark that we'll figure out later, because I didn't actually ask you guys what her symbol was, but that's what it is. I know, poor planning, but here we are. Yeah, so you feel this singe, this pain, this thing. It starts out almost like cold, like it's extra cold, and suddenly heat and pain, and you want to scream out, but the chanting around you tells you not only not to, but to not let yourself submerge yet. You may not hit the water. And the one alkalite pulls the brand away, and you actually see like a little bit of your skin go with it as it pulls away, and they go in turn to Junker and put out the brand just inches from Junker's chest. Says, do you accept the goddess? You're muted if you said anything.
No. Let's see. Well, maybe.
This is not the time for maybes.
Well, that's what she says.
Well, they take the brand up and go move to fish, and the brand goes inches from his chest. You accept the goddess.
Yes, I do.
And immediately, same thing. You feel you feel the burning, the coldness, and the burning, then the coldness. You smell your own flesh sizzling. And then it's suddenly she pulls it back and it's over. And again, you feel this, can't go under the water, shouldn't scream. And they move to Adrian. Same thing. The thing is inches from you. And they just look into your eyes. You accept the goddess. And you're muted if you're saying anything.
The goddess is already a part of me. I accepted her long ago.
They're that much for, what's the word I'm looking for to add to details to a thing? I'll remember the word later. English is escaping me. But like, immediately the brand hits you and you feel the same things, the smell, the skin peeling away, and then suddenly it's over, but the pain lingers. And they circle back around. You guys are actually the only 4 in this culvert, cistern, whatever you want to call it. And they go back to Junker. And the head lady, whoever she is, steps forward and she kneels. She's like, I understand your hesitation, but before we continue, we must know if you're dedicated to the goddess, if you're willing to become part of this group, the ones that surround you, as well as those here in my circle. We have much to offer you, but the choice is yours.
Well, all right.
That's good enough. That's not the solemn answer that they're hoping for, but close enough. That was an affirmation. So boom.
Why the hell not?
It's very academic.
So yeah, the brand happens. You see the smoke actually rise in front of your eyes, and then the brand is pulled back. And now the tone of the chant of the others changes, and now's the time to let the goddess relieve you and submerge yourselves completely. Which I'm assuming you do.
Yes.
It hurts.
It hurts. So yes, the water, is cold. It's cold. You're quasi hyperthermic for the last, 16 hours at least. And it's just cold and comforting, and it's everything you need to be right now. The sweat that was beating on your foreheads is now lifted away as you go underneath the water. You almost feel a caress on your face. This is so real to you. This whole experience is on another level with the, what you've been put through for the last 2 days. And then that's when you all suddenly wake up, and realize this is a memory of before you were formed together as a crew of the goddess, basically. We've established that your lair is a hidden lair, and it also has living quarters, and it's also basically it's like an abandoned house with a basement with a partially collapsed floor that then leads into an underground grotto that eventually leads out into the many canals of the area. Basically, so you can be close to the goddess, have that connection there. So yeah, you each wake up in your own beds. It's a start. Again, you probably had this. I won't call it a nightmare because it really was probably in the great picture one of the best days of your life in terms of giving you meaning to your life, giving you something to work towards, etc. That you were lacking before. Uh, and yeah, you wake up and you may communally gather. As a note, you have a couple of adepts as part of this thing. Uh, your crew is basically on a hand of the goddess, one of probably several throughout the city, but you aren't really in on that. You aren't high enough in the organization where they really care to share such things with you. But there's probably several cells of the goddess around, and you're the only one you know about. At least and you're the only one you've heard about by reputation. But anyway, you as part of this deal, as part of this mission you've been given, uh, you also get these adepts. They're basically we'll name them. They get names. They get names. They're not like cows to the market. They get names. They're not just adept one, adept two. But they're always around. They never leave. You're kind of responsible for feeding them and whatnot, but half the time they just live in the grotto, and they kind of catch their own food from the water that spills up into there. An eel here, a little fish there, some moss, to add on to everything, and they have their own way of doing things that's generally on their own, but sometimes they venture into your area, the upstairs with all the rooms and whatnot. And as you guys are gathering, and I want to start you guys off to do some role playing here. But let's start with you guys are communally gathering. It's the morning or night or as you like it. And you go to wherever you communally gather for food or whatever, and there are the two adepts standing there, and they always wear these tattered robes. You probably offered to get them fresh, clean ones, but apparently they were given as a gift during their own initiation, and to kind of get rid of them would be blasphemous. So they're there, and they're just kind of standing, in like what looks like a trance. And every now and then you've seen this. This is a ritual they do to kind of commune with another individual. In fact, the lady who initiated you, Lady Celeste. Every now and then they conduct this ritual where they communicate with her, and it looks like they're in that at least the pre phase right now. The pre I don't know what do we call it, meditative type phase. As you guys are walking in, so go ahead and start us off. Feel free to roleplay. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me who you're talking to. Tell me what you're going.
Okay. Well, I'll go first.
Yeah, and join in otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, Junker is probably just like sitting at a table, like working on a bit of technology, like with a screwdriver and like some kind of bit of what's it called, like a engine type thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a kind of a dark, twitchy woman. She has these rugged leather clothing, and like a cloak. Um,
Is this like active Sparkcraft? Like it actually has electroplasm like running through it as you're kind of twiddling with it? Out of curiosity.
I don't think so because the electroplasm would be like a fluid. I'm pretty sure. So it probably doesn't have Probably doesn't have that right now. No.
Just curious how dangerous she was being. Like, is this going to explode and kill everybody just because she's tinkering, or no? No. Okay. So no. That's a no. Good job.
Breaker is likely sitting in one of the corners, going through his assortment of deadly implements, sharpening them, looking at them.
Lovingly.
No, practiced. practiced ease. If you notice, you can almost, it seems like he's almost in a trance in a way, very focused, very calm. Um, he's done. You can tell he's done. This is something of a ritual for him. He's a very, very large, powerfully built man. He's not one that you would think to be sneaky or hiding around. Um, Scars, heavily scarred, wearing worn but well kept leathers, and a long coat draped over one of the chairs nearby.
Nice. Cool. What's Fish up to? No pressure.
Oh, sure.
His very
Uh,
first scene.
uh, Fish is, well, first off, we've just had this shared dream. Is that correct? And we've just woken
Maybe
up from that and come into this room.
if it's shared, maybe we've talked about it, perhaps. But certainly a dream.
All right. Uh, okay. So anyway, so Fish is kind of a jumpy person. What are these two people of the priestess? What are they? Are they acolytes? You said?
Adepts.
What is the
Oh, yeah.
adept?
They're adepts.
Yeah.
They're basically like your scholarly servants,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. So there's something where our role in this religious structure is different from what I can't remember. All I can remember is it starts with an A. Is different from an adept's role.
The acolyte or the adepts, yes. I got me
They're
to it.
essentially in a different career path in a sense than we
If
are.
I suppose if you wanted to like write out like the structure of the worship of a dead god or a forgotten god, that yes, they would be
Right.
on a different career. They would be on a servitude career path where you guys are on the
I mean, yeah,
in bold
Yeah.
strengthening the goddess.
they're essentially our minions.
Yes, you
Oh,
have
okay.
you have
There,
minions.
there are minions who our minions who are also the ones who who report on us to the priestess.
That
Sounds
probably
like.
not has been specifically said, but yeah, there's little doubt that yes, they confer information to you from the priestess, and and they report to her on your progress. So yeah,
Okay. All right. So they're sort of in the semi-trance state. So Fish walks over to one of them and just stares into their face, trying to get a reaction, kind of like tourists trying to get a reaction out of
Buckingham Palace.
those Buckingham Palace guards. Yeah, yeah, and doesn't get one from the one and goes to the other one and tries the same thing, and then just turns away and says, "I'm hungry."
Excellent. How about Ramiro? What are you doing?
Ramirez sitting at one of the tables, and he's, has a pair of, glasses on. He's a little bit up in years, and he's hemming, a pair of pants, and keeping an eye on the two acolytes. He's like, how long have Christoph and Lorette been at it?
I think since last night. I think they've been up all night.
I wonder if we'll be able to do that one day.
I think I already do that. How much I work. All you need to do is just to take she'll bring out a little powder out of her pouch and say, all you need to do is take a little bit of this stuff and you will not be able to sleep for like 2 or 3 days.
No.
Now that actually sounds pretty cool.
No, that's what
market
got me
that
into the situation in the first place.
Excellent. Yeah, so as you guys are kind of, wondering, what's about to happen. Yeah, again, you've seen this several times. You guys have been together for a while. We'll say is 3 months reasonable since that fateful night?
Works for me.
Sure.
Excellent. Cool.
Sure.
Yeah, so again, you guys have been together for a while. It's not enough to really get to truly know somebody, but certainly living with them and working alongside of them, seeing them do what they do, you're certainly familiar. So so you guys are doing your thing. The adepts suddenly, their eyes just whoosh, flash open, and it's that kind of, their eyes open, but their eyes are actually rolled back into their head. So Fish, you see, you're staring deep into the whites of eyes as we speak, and suddenly, and this, it's weird how they do this. They do this often, not all the time, but especially when they're relaying information to you, they tend to do the identical twin thing. There is blasphemy afoot. So back and forth. And then they both say, blasphemy!
Oh, not blasphemy. Oh no. Please help.
So they kind of break out of, they kind of break out of their main trance. And you know that the message has been relayed to their minds by Lady Celeste. Who again is your benefactor. One of the things I kind of wanted to go over is like, so other crews in this game, like assassins and thieves and hawkers and whatnot, they all have people who want to do things for them, or basically people who are going to pay them to do things. Like, assassins are people are going to come to them and want somebody assassinated. Someone's going to want something stolen, or they do it on their own and they sell the thing, and that's how they get their money. With you guys, my feeling, and we can certainly talk this out, is that it's kind of like 2/3 to 1/3. Like, you're aware, besides Lady Celeste, there are other nobles in the city who are followers of the goddess. And they basically pay you for progress. Do something to, strengthen the religion, and we'll give you money. That's what your jobs are going to come from. Otherwise, they'll be coming from other people who either want you to do things like, basically they want you to do things that are going to benefit them in some fashion. So I want you to steal this thing. I got this lead on this thing. I want it stolen, and it happens to be an artifact that you might be interested in, and this guy losing it makes me happy because then he gets in trouble and I get his job, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking again, 2/3 kind of, you have basically patrons. 1/3 you have others coming to you with jobs that relate to what you want to do anyway, that kind of thing.
Yeah, other gangs, and they have
Oh, yeah.
they have something that pops up that comes into our wheelhouse. A contract out to us.
Yeah, and if it happens to be something that you want to do to advance the goddess, then if those align, then you have a job. So just put it out there as that. And again, we can talk through that also. There will be the exception to the rule. We do have only 10 sessions though, so kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah.
There's so much more I'd like to do if this was a lot longer game, but again, I do want to cap it at 10 just so we can bring a campaign arc to fruition, that type of thing. But yeah, so one of the adepts kind of breaks away. The other looks kind of like he took the brunt of this contact and kind of leans against the wall, braces himself. And the other is, we need you.
Well, tell us more, Lorette.
Report.
Yes, Lorette. Lorette steps forward. And is Lorette male or female?
Lorette's
Or-
female.
Lorette, okay.
And then Christoph is the gentleman you said that took the brunt of it.
Gotcha. Perfect. All right. Lorette. She kind of bows to each of you in turn, which is weird to most of you except Ramira. And she says, there is blasphemy afoot. There is a scholar out of Charter Hall. He has made it known that he's discovered something that is blasphemous to our goddess. He found something outside the lightning zone, and it cannot be allowed to be brought to the public. We need secrecy to a degree. We need this blasphemy dealt with in some fashion, but it cannot be brought to light.
Is this blasphemy an item, knowledge? Any more specifics of its nature?
It is a book. Book with inscriptions inside. Old inscriptions. He's this individual is Tom Norris, and she kind of scowls when she says the name. You know, this book must be dealt with. The book, he calls it the Kal. Who knows why?
Is it merely possess knowledge, or is there more to the book?
You kind of see her face kind of go weird again, like she's communing, and you suddenly get a bit of the lady's voice in her voice. She's like, "Details! You were told there was blasphemy." And then she kind of shakes it off and goes back to being herself, if there is such a thing.
She said details, as in who needs details?
Yeah, scoffing at the idea that he needed to know more about the book.
Okay.
Very well.
If this book besmirches our goddess, then we should take care of it.
What of the man? Must he be dealt with as well?
And with that, she just goes silent. She's kind of, this is taxing on them whenever they do this, and she goes silent. So, no, go ahead. Please go ahead.
We shouldn't kill unless necessary. Otherwise, we'll bring down more heat on ourselves than we can stand at this stage. Because whenever we kill, the Death Seeker crows will find us.
We'll see. This Tom Norris has read this book and seeks to harm Our Lady's name. Then we have to deal with him somehow, don't we?
Perhaps
he doesn't have to die.
Discredit him at the very least. Perhaps the theft of the loss of the book might prove enough. Perhaps we might find other ways, more efficient ways to ensure no one listens to this man. Or perhaps he can be taught in more physical ways. I guess we will see. Regardless, we're going to have to find, as much as Our Lady dislikes them, details are where the devil lies. We're going to need more if we're going to mount any kind of operation in Shutter Hall.
Yes.
Even if we've made some additional groundwork to make that easier.
Cool. And thank you for guys for doing through that. You kind of illustrated what I was going to bring up, in that this my goal is to give you open ends here. This is for you to figure out how you want to, what type of attack or approach you want to use to do this. And since there are many, as you already figured out, so my goal is to kind of leave that to you guys. In the various jobs, you'll be presented with something. Some will have specific details that need to be done. But otherwise, I want to draw on your creativity and, let you let your characters kind of flow and, kind of plot our path here. So yeah, so good job. Yes, and I just want to point. I just want to put out there to everyone in Chatville and etc. And my players. I think I've told you this. I've never actually run this game before, and so I'm also not a complete master of it. I'm getting there. So I'm going to kind of take this piece by piece. One of the reasons I do it like this is I want to show, again, this is a teaching thing for new players and that kind of thing. You don't have to be a master of something to GM it. Kind of get out there. You will learn as you go. You need to learn the basics, and everything else is going to come as you use it. And I will also be studying like a school book.
Yes.
Blazed in the Dark. So yes, so eventually I will be mastering the system. It's like I said, I understand the basics and the intermediate parts, I believe. So this is as much for me as it is for you. So putting it out there.
Typically, how I've seen this handled is you can make a roll to set up to get more information, and then after that, you generally pick one of the types of missions that you want to try, and then you go into things.
Right. When we're gonna basically the what you can start with is a gathering information type of thing, or whatever you really want. And then from there, you basically, again, this is not a game of planning, and that's really important to notice. In fact, this is a good point to bring up, kind of like how the system kind of works. So this game is kind of inspired by Apocalypse World games, and a couple things. One major thing in Apocalypse World was, and its derivatives. The rules don't care about the power or skill of your foe in making the roll for your action. It doesn't matter if you're debating a scholar or a drunk guy on the street. You rolled the same thing, and the fiction helped decide the outcome depending on what you rolled, right? So this game is concerned with the abilities of your opponent. So you have your basic what do you call it? Position and effect. So position is basically asking the question, how badly could this go? And then effect is, how well can this go? How much can you accomplish? That type of thing. So and using these as kind of like, up and down, like, more, a risky or desperate position with a limited standard effect. You can kind of work those, and that'll help. And basically, that's the way the system shows you're working up against something more difficult than just a generic, I roll the dice type of thing. So different philosophies, but both pretty cool in my estimation. So I'll put that out there. Let's see. So gather information. I'll be kind of going a little from the book here. So what I'd like you guys to do is let's do some role playing. Like, tell me where you're going, and this will basically kind of segue into a gather information for your job.
Well,
So,
I would like.
mhm.
I
Yeah, go
guess
ahead.
what I would like to do is try to hunt the guy down to figure out where he is.
Sure, absolutely. So let's see. So he's in Charter Hall. You're in Silk Shore. So yeah, it's for any of you guys. It's probably a couple of gondola rides or maybe a crowded crossing from the what do you call it, the over the bridge from shore to shore to shore to Crow's Foot. Um, but yeah, you can absolutely make it over there, and then kind of we'll get an idea of how you're hunting and etc. We can go for that. Is anyone else looking to gather information anyway, or kind of happy with starting with us?
Yeah, I'm also Breaker's going to be gathering some himself. I'm just deciding the approach to take, whether to command it or to find it through surveying.
Gotcha. Anybody else wants to do any information gathering?
Yes, what does it mean to command it?
Command would be like using intimidation or my presence to convince someone to give me my information. It's
Oh, sure.
um
Okay.
Yeah. Now, another thing that I kind of wanted to also point out, difference between the games and important to this one is this is not a game of planning. You're going to get, do some, information finding, and then we're going to go straight from there,
Yeah.
jumping straight into the job.
Ask a
And
question, get an answer kind of thing. Yeah. Very
yeah,
limited.
yeah, and we can role play that out. So I'm not saying not to, but I just want to put out there that again, this is not a game where you play where half the session is getting ready because basically the rules allow us to get some basic information and then boom, you're on the job once we figure out which type of approach you're using. So cool.
Well, Ramirez
guess-
going to
oh,
go to wherever the scholars hang out. And
Cool.
he's going to buy some drinks and talk to them.
Nice. Excellent. Doctor, are you gonna hang out with anybody or you want to gather information on your own or
I on our character sheet,
Mhm.
there's this section called Shady Friends.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely clear what that is, but I decided to pick Kelda a beggar as the thumbs up shady friend.
Sure.
Uh, and I'm thinking that's because Kelda is a friend of mine, and also this is somebody who uh, learns things being a beggar because nobody pays attention to beggars. So I want to know who this guy is and where he is. So I want to go talk to Kelda and find out what Kelda knows.
Okay, cool. Okay, so so basically each of you is gathering information your own way, which is cool. So let's start off with let's see here. Let's go with Junker.
All right.
All right, so kind of take me through what you're doing. So you get off the gondola or you cross the bridge, whatever. You're now in hunt mode, apparently.
Well, yeah, like I said, she has these rugged leather clothing and the big heavy cloak. She pulls the cloak up over her head and she's just, she knows Charterhall pretty well because she went to school in the Sparkright Tower in this district. So she's just moving through the alleyways. Maybe she climbs up on the building and like jumps along to the next one. And she's just trying to find out where he is, trying to find out traces of like shady dealings and places that could have occult bases, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Uh, trying to figure out where he might be or where he might be. If she might try to find him and shadow him for a while.
Okay, so you're not specifically staking out an area. You're looking for him specifically, or are you kind of waiting in the area, waiting for him to come around and then see what he does?
Yeah, it's probably what I'll do. Um,
Cool. All right, so let's. So what action do you want to use to do this? You get to choose the action. That's part of this game is, um, whereas I'm going to choose position and effect. You get to choose what skill you're using. That's not my decision, but based on the skill you choose to use to do a specific thing, I can then adjust position and effect accordingly. So just keep that in mind.
well, I'll use the hunt skill. When you carefully track a target, you might follow a person or discover their location. You might arrange an ambush. You might attack with precision shooting from a distance, that kind of thing.
Cool. All right, yeah. So let's roll your hunt and basically click on it, and you're basically going to be your position is going to be controlled. There's really nothing that can go wrong. Worst case, he sees you and you fade into the crowd. And your effect, I'm going to call standard. You're going to get some basic information, but I don't think, again, this is nothing great.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your roll. Cool. All right. So, 6. So basically, and for those of you who are still studying the rules, basically you roll with, in this case, for an action, you roll as many action dice for that action as you have. If you have 0 dice, you can basically you basically roll 2 dice, but take the lesser of the 2. There are other things we could do. There was no reason I didn't bring up pushing on this one. You can push yourself, or take a devil's bargain to get another dice, and another of your team can help you for another dice. So, but none of that was really important here. So we'll bring that up in the future rolls out. Anyway, so you roll the dice. 1 to 3 is things have gone just horribly bad. You didn't succeed at what you're doing. 4 and 5 is you succeed in what you're doing, but there was a cost. And 6 is you succeed in what you're doing. 2 6s, if you happen to roll 2 6s, it's a critical, and it gets even better. We can go from there. So yeah, you standard effect type of stuff. And gathered information. Standard effect is you get good details, clarifying follow-up questions are possible. So yeah, so you basically follow him through a couple markets. He seems to be he's walking around with like a ledger type book and a like a pen, and kind of going from kind of as you kind of move around Charter Hall. This is all schools and higher society places, but he's basically going from like business to business, and these are all kind of occult bookshops, and that kind of thing. Places specializing in both real and not real uh, types of occult type stuff. But he's definitely having conversation here and there. And in the bits you can pick up, it's just about doing business. You do see that some money passes from the hands of at least most of the business owners to him. So he's taking in coin as you watch. Any questions? You're allowed to ask some follow-ups, or if you like, or a follow-up at least.
Let's see. Does it look like legitimate business, or does it look like he's trying to set up some kind of protection racket on these folks?
Well, you've definitely seen protection rackets before, and this, he's getting paid off, but it's not protection.
Okay.
Cool. I'll let you ask one more question if you want, but that'll be it for your research, or for your gather information.
Do I notice anything special about these occult shops?
No. Like I said, some of them are like quote unquote legitimate. Some are like, obviously, to the uneducated eye, it's quite obviously just crap. It's bunk. So he goes in kind of both of them. Doesn't discriminate on that sense. So cool. All right. So after that, I'm assuming you'll head back to the lair.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, and it's like, so yeah, you kind of become, as you're doing this, by the way, you're becoming like one with the crowd. It's kind of like, I almost envision like an Assassin's Creed thing where like, you're going from crowd to crowd, blending in with them as you move to follow him. And it's definitely, for as if we're watching this as a TV show, it's obvious that Junker has done this before. She's pretty darn good at it. So yeah, very, very cool. So all right, next let's go for doctor, or sorry, let's see here. Let's get the names all up here. Sco Pendrin.
Oh, I was waiting for you to call me Fish.
Oh, Fish. I'm sorry.
No,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. It's just that's the. so I've got this friend, Telda, a beggar, who lives in. I just had to do some really quick research here. Who lives in Crowsfoot, in this particular area called Tangletown, which is this kind of collection of floating riffraff that people live in.
Mhm.
And it may, I'm thinking it may even have something to do with where SCO originally came from. That these two people have known each other probably since childhood. And so SCO wants to go find Tilda in Tangletown and see, do we have any sense if Tilda is a male or female?
You tell me. It's your character. It's your shady friend.
Okay, I think Tilda is generally female. And so SCO wants to go find Telda and see if she has heard of this guy. What's this guy's name? Tom somebody?
Tom Norris.
Tom Norris. Okay. He wants to find out, or they want to find out if Telda has heard of this person, because Telda tends to know a lot of what's going on, and this is also, in this area is pretty close to what's the name of the place where Tom, I want to say Norris, isn't
Oh.
Chuck Norris?
Charter Hall, the Charter Hall area.
Yeah, he's near Charter Hall.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure what that means. Do I pick a skill for finding out what Telda knows?
Yeah. So basically, you have a conversation. In this case, for the mechanical part of the show, this will be what's called a fortune roll, because there's really, your friend isn't interested in not helping you out at this point. So it's basically how much information they have to give you. Yeah. So you basically walk up to Telda, and Telda looks up at you. Her clothes are probably damp and dirty. She's a beggar. Her cheeks are gaunt. She's her general demeanor is very furtive glances everywhere, looking for that person's going to take what little she has. But when she sees you kind of ambling toward her, you can kind of see the shoulders. They just kind of relax. It may be that Fish is the single person in the entire world that she trusts.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees you coming around. She actually goes towards you, almost like a a baby animal going towards its mother, almost to be protected. She scurries over.
Can I color this a little bit?
Absolutely.
What you're saying?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I like the idea that they mutually protected each other.
Cool.
But as you're saying, that they're the only ones who protected. So she's not, looking at SCO as this, as a sort of an equal. She's looking at SCO as sort of an equal. It's kind of more of a sort of sibling relationship than a parent-child relationship. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So, let's see here. So go ahead and what do you say? She comes up to you. She's like, oh, she's like, she has this, even though you're dressed better and you obviously are better fed than her, she kind of dips back into that, you're both helping each other, supporting each other mode. And she like gets towards you, and she kind of has this little like cloth. It's dirty, but looks like you can see that there's like morsels of food in there, and she kind of shows it to you, tightens up the top, and hands it. Kind of pushes it in your hand and tries to push it under your clothes to hide it. Kind of giving you your share if as she sees it. It's like,
Okay.
what you doing here, fish?
And so now, is this where I roll fortune?
Nope, not yet. We're gonna have a conversation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let's do some role play. Let's do this.
There's I'm trying to find out about this this I want to come up with a sarcastic name for the people on a higher strata of society here for this. Anyway, I'll just say bigwig for now. I'll come up with something better later. I want to. I'm looking to get some dirt on this bigwig Tom, not Norris. Tom, what?
Oh, and she goes, oh, and she
he's he hangs out next door and in the ritzy whatever the name of that district is next door.
Charter Hall.
And yeah, and in Charter Hall. Have you noticed this guy, creeping around here at all?
She kind of like looks back and forth, and now I'll have you roll your fortune.
Now I roll fortune. I just click that button.
Yes.
Roll fortune button.
Yeah, it may prompt you again. I've never actually used the button before. We're still figuring that out.
Oh.
So it may be how many dice or something.
Number of dice.
Okay, so let's just because we're gonna say you were basically consorting this out of your friend, but we're gonna give you one full dice. So roll one die.
Okay, one die and submit.
Yep.
Input value, it says notes.
You can, so that's just basically if you want to label it, you can research or something like that. And then when we look at the little like the thing on the right, if we have to look back over rolls, it'll tell us what it is, but not necessary if you don't want to.
Okay. Submit.
Holy crap! Six fortune. Jesus. Wow. Okay? So you guys are using up all your dice luck for the entire game. So good job.
Where was this result? I don't see it anywhere.
If on the roll 20 on the right side of your screen, the very first blurb, what is it called? Chat. You click on chat, all the rolls are shown in there.
Oh, okay.
So you see you rolled a 6, which is the best. So your friend Telda, she gets this look on her face, this like childish grin, and you kind of see her face squishes up like only kids can, like on Christmas, when they got that thing that they wanted so badly, and she's just and you see kind of her rotting teeth as you do it. She does not have much. There's not much health care for the poor in Scotland. That's well, brother. Excuse me. So she smiles those. You see those teeth, and she's like, "Oh, I've seen him around. Oh, I have. He doesn't look for the ladies or the men. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Zelda sees him all over. He's looking for the rare things, buying, selling. The rare things." And you can ask, so go ahead and you can ask another question or two. You got a 6.
Okay.
So,
is there any place he visits more often than others?
He's by the bookbinderies, and he's by the he's like she's searching for the word, the demon shops. And as a note, culturally in Duskfall, demon is pretty much anything paranormal. Your witch, your ghost, pickly demon, that kind of thing. Demons are demons. So demon shop.
Okay. Let's see. Do I get another question?
Sure.
Where's that at?
Why don't you ask?
Okay.
Ask her and find out. We're role playing.
Okay. Oh, all right, yeah. Oh, uh, what's he after at the demon shops?
Mm. She's like kind of like makes this motion like drawing. She's like, he's looking at their books. He buys little things, spends some silver here and there, but he's talking to them about how much money they make.
Hmm. Okay.
And then you see her, you suddenly she's like looking around at you. See it. You see this like start, and this is like, this she has some issues. And this is like she has some kind of PTSD type of thing. You grew up with her, so you kind of get a feel for that. And everything that's like potentially slightly dangerous, she overreacts to a little bit. She's like, oh, and you actually see like a blue coat coming your way, and she like kind of pulls up what's left of the hood on her little tattered cloak and turns away from you and runs into the crowd. And
Okay.
as the blue coat brushes past you, could have cared less of her presence.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna leave. Unless you want to do anything, we're gonna leave you there.
Okay. I can't do the thing I wanted to do. Darn
Oh,
it.
what is that?
Darn you, Game Master. Oh,
What?
as when Fish leaves, I wanted Fish to silently pickpocketing, sort of reverse pickpocket, slip that little bag of food back into her pocket.
Oh, sure. That happened.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, she'll see it as some kind of gift from the gods or something like that.
Yeah.
It was magic. So nice. Nice little insight into Fish also. All right, so let's go to Ramira Peacock. What are you doing?
Ramiro is going to Charter Hall to one of the. What's that?
Actually, I do. Adrian will talk suggest a plan to Ramira for finding information. Ramira, we both know I'm no good at talking to people unless there's violence or rougher forms of persuasion involved. Perhaps you should talk to Hutchins. He might know something about this individual. Antiquarian will probably have heard something about a new old book.
He was just the man I was going to see.
Excellent. If you can give me a rough area of where this guy's based out of, hopefully I'll be able to find a way to access it.
Yes. And when I tracked him down, I probably know a rough area of his patterns that I could give to Adrian.
Cool. All right, hold that until we meet up together.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, but I did plan on going to see Hutchins and buying him a few drinks and see if he knows this Tom Norris fellow.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is your main favored contact, so let's do a fortune roll with him also.
Okay.
This is basically consorting with him. So I'll give you 2 dice for your 2 fortune dice for your consort.
Okay.
Or not a consort, but your fortune roll, rather. Excuse me.
Yep. I was just looking for where the fortune was.
Yep. Down on the right side, if you go down your character sheet.
Not a stick in the eye.
Yeah, 4. So one of the things I want to point out here. So one of the reasons for this kind of thing I chose fortune over a skill is one, the the person they're going to has no reason to hold back or has no ability to hold back. And so really nothing bad can happen per se. This basically is just how much information you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right, because Hutchins might not know him at all.
You're
Yeah.
just getting less information. It's not like a complication is happening.
Right. Like really, off of this type of thing, a complication couldn't happen.
Exactly.
Whereas with Junker's hunter roll,
Yeah.
something could have gone very badly on that, and someone spots her, that knows her, or points her out, or Blue Coat takes an interest in her, or that kind of thing.
Or he notices her and is now on guard.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I just kind of want to point it out why I'm doing it like this. And it wouldn't make sense necessarily. I suppose in a sense it would make sense for there to be complications potentially from these, but for the purposes of gathering information, the rules don't really care about that as much in this case. In a case where, again, the person has no reason to hold back, it's just a matter of what they know. So okay, so 4. Let's see, y'all. So 4. So Hutchins is always seen with his what do you call it? What do they call that thing? It's not a monocle, but it's like the eyepiece they use to observe little jewels and a hoop, a loop. Thank you. So yes, he's always has his loop. Like literally all. It's not a monocle, but it still hangs on a nice thick piece of thread around his neck. And he constantly, even the smallest thing, he kind of checks out. The bartender brings over his pint, and he kind of examines it for a moment, as if looking for that extra piece of dirt that he just can't stomach over the other pieces of dirt. So he doesn't live richly. This is one of those people who like sells and buys as much as they sell. So like he's always, things are always coming in and out of his antiquity stock, and he's not rich because he basically is he basically whatever he makes in profit he spends on buying that next thing. But
Why he takes readily to free beer.
Exactly. So yeah, start the conversation. How's this go?
Like, been looking for someone like yourself that acquires different materials, occult books, and such. And it goes by the name of Tom Norris. Someone you're familiar with? Operates out of Charter Hall mostly.
Oh, the Charter. I see. Yes, I've heard of Norris. In fact, I would rather not admit to it, but I've been outbid on once or twice by him, and it's a point of contention. I am not one of his fans, if you will.
I mean, I could help settle that if.
Oh no. I prefer to have diversity in the market. It breeds better deals and more information. But I appreciate the offer. I won't forget it. He's like, so what about this Norris? I wouldn't get in business with him if I were you.
Well, he has a book that I'm interested in. I was hoping someone could point me to where to find him. If he has a shop or works out of his home.
Oh, he's a scholar. I don't even know that he has a home.
Surely can't sleep on the streets.
I don't exactly go looking. I have my own business, And he's like, but this book, I've heard talkings about it, but I know there's a book. I don't know anything about it, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. you know, as I love to be your favorite go-to for this type of thing, and an opportunity to have you buy me beer and other drinks was also very nice, by the way. Thank you. However, I can't be much more help to you. Can I have another beer though before you go, please? I know you're always on the run.
After all, you keep an eye out for us in many ways.
Oh, we do. And he kind of gives you that grin, and he kind of like he kind of takes a loop and looks at you a little closer. You guys, I'm assuming you guys generally hide your brand, right?
Yeah, I mean he's wearing his fine clothes if he's out consorting with people, so he's very much done up.
Yeah, he looks in that area as if like he can like maybe is with his loop he can maybe make out the outline of that risen scar.
Or
But
the
yeah,
bandage is probably still covering it.
that's quite possible
The
too.
knowing look at your chest, and not in that way.
Or in this case, an unknowing, unfortunately for him,
Yes.
or fortunately, perhaps. So cool. So that leaves us with. So basically, we've done our research, and why don't you role play some talk, and then we'll figure out how we're going to do this job. So at this point, just do some role play, and the rest will kind of take its course.
I would do. Breaker was going to do his own information
Oh.
as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were just you're helping out with pointing Ramir in the right direction. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was just an additional little thing.
Oh, sorry about that. I did not mean to cut you out there. Please go for it.
Not a problem. He's going to go to Charter Hall and survey the situation. He's looking for an opportune moment to acquire that book.
Interesting.
As he's looking for the man himself and a way to the best time to hit him. The best when he would be either distracted or when he might be setting the book down. When it might be separated from him without a huge amount of onlookers.
Gotcha. So when you we're gonna talk we'll talk what do you call it, load in a little bit. But for purposes of this, how are you dressed? Out of curiosity. Are you wearing heavy leathers with a big sword and a gun, or?
He's actually just pretty. He would be at load if we're talking load, he'd be at load 3. He has a thick overcoat, but fortunately this place Duskfall is very cold and damp always, so everyone gets nice thick large coats. He seems like a normal guy. He's big, he's quite tough, but he's not dressed to the nines in weapons, as far as anyone can see.
Okay. So all right. So let's see. So he's definitely surveying. And that's what you want to use, yes?
Yeah.
He's okay. Okay. So let's make a roll, and it's going to be. Let's see. So the worst that can really go wrong is you are chased out. Really, you're not doing anything illegal here. You're really not doing anything illegal. So let's call it controlled again. And you really don't have access to a lot of spaces here. You're surveying. You're not prowling or anything. So let's call it controlled and limited on this roll. So roll your survey.
Could I use a setup action with prowl to see if I can improve my effect?
No, that's a teamwork move. So you'd have to someone else would have to set you up.
Is it? Because
yeah. You can push yourself if you want, or I can give you a devil's bargain, or someone can assist you. But that's how you get extra dice. But the setup action is done by someone else. So like I'll distract the guard while you sneak in. So I just my distraction is a setup, which then helps you with your sneaking in.
I see.
Yep. So sorry, I'm having a little dry eye issue here. Apologize. And in about 6 minutes, we're going to take our break. We're halfway through. As a note.
You know what? What's the devil's bargain?
Really? Okay.
Well, I can say no, but
you can say no.
Interested.
Yeah, you can say no. Let's see here. That's a really good question. Any suggestions? This is the part where you can suggest the devil's bargain.
Let's see. He notices a rather imposing man giving him a pretty odd once over. He's worried now. He's on guard that something might be going on.
Okay. So what we can do, I'll say like, because of that, whatever happens with your not action, but your sorry.
Engagement roll.
No, well, the action itself, the job, you'll get a score. Thank you. Let's just call it an extra heat.
Okay.
So if you're willing to take an extra heat on the job, I'll let you put another die in here, or you can what do you call it? Extra die will get you. Let's see here.
Could I use that to improve the effect, so to standard instead of limited?
Yeah, let's check that out. I'm not positive. I know you can push yourself for extra effect, but I'm not sure if you can devil's bargain for extra effect.
I don't think you can. I think it's just
Let's double check.
dice. You have to push yourself for extra effect.
Devil's bargain. The devil's bargain. I don't always. Choice.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. PCs are looks this Jim or any character can offer you a bonus die if you accept the devil's bargain. Yeah, it's that's only
Okay, it's just the devil. Well, in that case, I'll stick with it then. I'm fine with just 2.
Okay,
if you
cool.
wanted that Talker could just give you like a bonus die when maybe you went out hunting with her and you prowled alongside, and I could just give you a bonus die to assist.
Okay. Do you want to say that you
She was hunting and I was surveying.
let's
help using her to assist.
well let's say that for the first part of her hunt she was actually with you.
Okay.
And I'll give an extra effort. Let's and this will give you a way in the future to kind of better, think about that, like, being there to help each other. And I think for the most part you guys are going to be together, so assisting another character is going to be so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Or we can take that one upgrade and just always assist at all times.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So yeah, all right. So well, for purposes of this, we'll call it an assist. So roll skirmish, or I'm sorry, skirmish survey.
Oh no.
And you're going to let's see here. Again, it's going to be controlled and limited, and add an extra die. So I'm thinking that the that hold button thing takes you through that.
All right, so I survey. Position is controlled. Limited effect. Ah, there you go. Bonus die 1.
Holy shit! God damn!
Critical success.
Yeah, that's a critical. Jesus, what is it? What is broken here? Jesus, yeah. Now there's gonna be the ones all over the score now. It's just very sad. But here we are. All right. So first, describe to me what it looks like as you're doing this. What do you just again? We're watching the TV show of this of Blaze in the Dark. What is the viewer watching as they're seeing this scene of you surveying?
This would actually be so he's walking through Charter Hall. He's glancing through what everyone else sees. He's just glancing through. Seems normal, and then you zoom in on him, and it's like the Sherlock scan. If you've seen the new Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr., it goes into him and he's breaking down everything. He's looking through, he's noticing every little small detail, the way people interact with each other, the undertone the feeling, what's going on in this situation, what's really happening here, the things that aren't being said, the feelings of the area, and he's adding that all up to get a picture of what's going on.
Cool. All right. So let's do this. I hate to break the momentum, but I want to take our break. I know that we got to take care of some stuff here. So let's take a 10-minute break. We'll be right back, and don't be late. And then when we get back, we'll check out what you learned from your excellent survey. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
See you guys in 10.
See you in 10.
All right.
And we're back. Cool. So yeah. So let's do this. Let's go over what you see. So what are the, you know what? I suppose I can just give it to you as information. This is like the your survey was to get information. So let's see here. So we're gonna look at some esoteric stuff. So as you're kind of casing the joint, as it were, you spot some, very vague blue coat, patrols, that kind of thing. It's people are looking out for other people, that kind of thing. But it's nothing quite what you'd call like militant. There's not, people aren't, stopping and, harassing people. Blue coats are not stopping and harassing people, that kind of thing. You're surrounded more by geeks, basically. You're surrounded by, philosophers, researchers, that kind of thing. More in line with your adepts, to a point. So I think the biggest thing you guys see is, or that Adrian sees, is there comes a time at night, in the middle of the night, where a bunch of the scholars get together in this one room in the building that you've basically tracked Norris to, that he spends most of his time. It's almost like, if I had to describe it, it's almost like a coffin type motel at the school, at these education areas, where basically people don't want to go too far from the schools, the research areas, and their colleagues and stuff, so they kind of sleep here every now and then. And you find the area that he sleeps in, and it's not so much a coffin motel in this case as it is, he has like his own small room that he rents, it seems, regularly. As you kind of survey things, you hear, you kind of overhear one of the people who rents the rooms talking. It's like, 14th day in a row, he pays on time. But yeah, you kind of are able to survey things, go around, just as a customer, basically. Or maybe you popped in to check out the rooms before you rented. And like I said, you kind of get he's like, what room does that person have? I saw it before, and I'd like to see one like it. And yeah, so it's basically like it's a small room. There's a bunch of people going up and down it, but you notice that most of the foot traffic stops when there's basically like this, in the middle of the night, there's this meeting of like scholars, and they just get together to debate things like real nerds do. And total science nerds, really getting down to it, and arguing back and forth theories and thoughts and philosophies, exactly.
That's more dangerous than a philosophical debate.
Yeah. So it's so basically the crowd, the foot traffic in the hallways of this boarding house, if you will, quiet down when this thing happens. And it basically happens in the great hall of this place, if you will, like the area you're in when you first walk in the door. Oh, and I'll let you ask a question or two. You did get a critical on top of all that good information.
Okay. is there easy access to the? Is there like a window or an easy way to get into the room from outside?
Not an easy way. There's a window, but it's on the second floor.
Okay.
And there's no like, no pile of wood there or anything like that. So yeah, it's
Is there any nearby like rooftops perhaps? Or is this building kind of like away?
it's away enough that it's away enough that basically no one would be able to, like, it's not jumpable, if that's what you're kind of asking. But it's about I don't know, let's call it 10 meters between the two. So it's not it's
Between
it's
the two what?
between the nearest building
Okay.
and this building.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So one more question and we gotta go on.
Hmm. Does does he attend these debates? And if I can, when he attends, does he have the book with him?
I'll tell you, he doesn't attend the debates normally. He you get from your survey, you kind of get the feel that even amongst scholars, he's a scholar snob. So like, if you came from the second most expensive school, he's like, you're worthless trash. You didn't learn anything, and so he basically doesn't mix with these other people.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. So as a note, in the future, I wanted to give you guys all a feel for this, but in the future, probably will limit, like, I mean, technically you can do as much as you want, but I'm hoping to limit to like 2 find information excursions, just for the sake of time, and that way, if you bunch up a little bit, you have the ability to assist better on that kind of thing.
And there's only so much information we actually need.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So as a preface to the score, as the engagement roll, which is important here. About to sneeze. Excuse me. Thank you. So again, this is not a game of planning. A lot of the rules are made for improvisation. So there's going to be an engagement roll, which basically puts you right in the middle of the action, and basically you start out, whatever footing you're on. And everything else is kind of, you have your basic information. So now we have enough information to, have an idea of an approach, right? So now we're going to have 3 things that are important to this. We have load, and that's basically, load is how much stuff you're carrying with you. And you don't, unlike other games where I'm going to say, hey, okay, put on this list. I mean, if it's not on your character sheet, you don't have it. It's not like that. I'm going to say, what's your load? And you're going to tell me light, medium, or heavy, or extreme, or encumbered. And this tells me 2 things. One, what you look like. Like, light load, basically you can blend in with every other citizen. Medium load, you now look like you're a scoundrel on a mission. Heavy load, you are a scoundrel on a mission that is going to be encountering something dangerous, obviously. And overburdened is just, absurd.
So the load does not affect your ability to move or climb or anything like it's really how you
Affects.
perceive.
Oh yeah, it's so 2 things. So one, what you look like, if you're encumbered, like the heaviest load of all, yes, then you basically can only move slowly. But yeah, it won't be affecting your skills per se. Just it may affect outcomes of actions based on what people see you wearing. If you're trying to if you're trying to, like, persuade a noble to do something, but you look like you're about to go into a battle on horseback, probably they're not going to be as cooperative. So again, getting back to load. So the second thing is you have load slots. So light is 3. Let's see here. Light is 3. 4 or 5 is medium, 6 is heavy, and 7 or more you're encumbered. So these are basically slots. Now you've probably noticed on your playbooks and other places in the book, if you've checked it out, things cost load. Like let's look, for example, look at a playbook real quick. Playbook, the leech items. So these are not items you can get. These are items that you as a leech have access to automatically. And they each cost load. These are specialized items. They're also, of course, standard items that literally anyone can have, or without having to go through any like roles to get them, or long-term projects to get them, and that kind of thing. So, for example, find tinkering tools. If a leech wanted to bring that along, that's one load. Some of these things are 0 load, but we still want to limit them so it's not absurd. Carrying 20 0 load items is probably going to equal up to 1 or 2 load or 3 or whatever. So just kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, so, and the thing about load is I don't make you tell me what it is to begin with. Those are just spots. So again, for light, it's 3, 4 to 5 for medium, etc. So, and basically, as you get into a situation where you need them, like, oh, I have free load, so I wanted to do this. So basically, what that retroactively becomes is I planned ahead for this, and I brought this with me because I knew you'd need it. So instead of bringing along a lot of crap that 9/10 of which you'll never actually use on a given score, this is all pertinent, and it makes it so you don't have to sit there and plan for every contingency. Again, this is not a contingency planning thing. The second part is flashbacks. So if you're willing to spend some stress and do some rolls potentially, you can basically say, you can get to a point where you say, hey, I'd like to do a flashback where I did this. And based on what you want to have done in advance, will determine how much stress I take off, and if I make you do a roll, and if it turns out that roll doesn't work, well, there you are. There's your flashback, but hopefully it succeeds. So again, it's another one of those improvisational things. Like you can say, I planned for this, even though you didn't. In our world, you did not actually plan for it, but these are all ad-libbing contingency things where you just do it on the fly. And for purposes of in the game, it all seems like your plan is just coming together. So those are the main things. So yeah. So let's do this. So we've done the planning. Let's do the engagement. Let's get into this. Let's get into the score. So we have to figure out what type of engagement this is. So there's assault, doing violence to a target. Is it deception, lure, trick, or manipulate? Is it a stealth, trespass unseen? Occult, engage a supernatural power. Social, negotiate, bargain, or persuade. Or transporting, carrying cargo, people through danger. So the question is, how do you guys want to do this? Pick one.
Yeah.
I'd say stealth would be my suggestion.
I mean, we do know where he is.
I mean,
We just have to
we know
worry
what-
about him being with it, but stealth would be an option.
Yeah.
as like the point of entry, and we also know a time period where most foot traffic is going to be concentrated into one room.
Yeah. He also, as an alternative, he also deals with a lot of occult and antique dealers and stuff. We could maybe use Hutchins as a point of contact to have him try to buy the book for us.
So it could be a social thing.
Do like a social.
I was going to say, would that be social, or do we actually plan on buying the book?
Well, you could do it as a social, or you could do it as a deception.
Sure.
Or
I think that's what
a
the plan is.
threat even.
Or or it'd be an assault. It'd be essentially a smash and grab. It's like, hey, how you going? Grab.
Or I was talking more like threatening to bad things happen to him if he doesn't do what you say and everything.
Right. Give
But-
us this book for no money, or we kill you.
With the information we've gathered, though, at this point, we don't know where the book is, right? We don't know if he's got it, if it's in his room, if he's stashed it somewhere.
I believe it was stated. It was said in the hunt rolls that he always keeps it on him. At least
Oh, okay.
Is that correct?
He keeps a ledger on him at all times.
Oh.
So you are correct, Doc. We don't exactly know where the book is.
That's true. Okay.
But
Well,
that what the cool part about this is, so basically let's figure out what type of engagement, and we can and basically pick the next part is pick the point of entry, and then go with it. So basically the way this will work is we'll make an engagement roll, and the engagement roll will help us figure out what's gone right or what's gone wrong, and all these things may or may not feed into it.
So I vote for stealth, point of entry being the window for the
Yeah.
lurk,
Just a second story job.
with a couple other setups to make that happen.
I'm not sure which one. I mean, that could certainly work. Uh,
Especially for a lurk.
but yeah, but also, this is a guy who's moving around a lot, at least during the day. And especially, if you consider the fact that we perhaps don't just need to steal the book, but we also need to some extent, at least threaten him that he is not to use this knowledge or allude to it in any way. That it may be more like a sort of aggressive following him into an area that is a little shadier than the scholarly environment, and do a kind of aggressive snatch and grab.
So yeah, basically just mug him.
Well, if he has
Direct
if he
Yeah,
has the book.
If he has
mug,
the
mug him with a threat.
Though I mean, admittedly, it is worth pointing out that when I asked should we deal with him, the answer was details. So I guess it's like we don't have formal orders to mess with him. The book is the only formal orders is acquire that book.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now that being said, maybe if maybe messing with him is good, maybe that's a benefit, maybe it's not. So that's
Oh,
that
something
depends
on
on
us.
how we
well,
want to
it
play
sort
it.
of gets
Yeah.
back to since we don't know where the book is. I mean, there's a good
Right.
chance he's either going to have it on him, or we're going to have to make him tell us where it is.
So I vote for stealth as the easy opportunity first.
Yeah.
And
vote for
if
stealth
that
too.
fails, which sometimes like all plans they go awry, and
Okay.
all of a sudden it turns into a fleeing from the blue coats as we beat people around the head, like
And
it'll
throw
happen.
bombs into the main streets.
But stealth seems
Things
like a
happen.
great starting point.
Yeah.
Explosives might be planted throughout the area. Who knows?
Who knows?
Okay.
Okay.
So are we going with stealth? Is that the agreed upon?
Sure.
All right. And so the point of entry
Do we need the point of entry is what are we choosing?
is like the physical. Where are you
the
going in?
window or the front?
I
Are
think
we
the window, and I
assuming
was
that
gonna
we're stealthing into his room building? In the
Yeah.
scholarly building?
I assume we're just gonna go climb up the door and go into the second story window.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was
So-
gonna see about arranging
Do
for
the
a
use of
stagecoach.
the
to be,
liberal use of
parked
grappling
underneath.
hooks.
There is a leech that happens to have a gadget that would help with
Is
that,
there?
perhaps.
Oh,
That would
really?
be
Yes.
excellent.
So that's what I was going to ask you. It says I get a plan for the device. Do I
Yeah,
actually
for-
get the device?
For purposes of this campaign, I'm going to say for this you've had this plan, you invented it, and you have it.
Yeah, because this is a 10 session.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have this. For future things, you will have to invent and then craft, but you have it.
All right. So yeah.
And I'll say it's to load. Should you choose to do that?
Okay, do we want to do it during the day when he's not there, or assuming that he leaves the book there? Do we want to do it at night? You can get potentially both him and the book in the room.
Yeah.
I would
That's
say at night, like right when the debate starts, because That's going to be very loud. They're going to be very focused. They might not be paying attention to what else is going on, and it's going to be,
Sure.
and that'll remove a lot of the foot traffic.
And we'll work on
Yeah,
other distractions.
so once it starts, when
Excellent
people have
distraction.
arrived there, the debate gets rolling. Yeah.
So I think we have enough for an engagement.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see here. So now we'll do this one simply. In the future, again, because we're kind of, I'm not going to call it wasting because this is really awesome stuff you guys are doing. But in the future, the engagements can be a little more complex. Like one of the things they say is like one team can do a setup maneuver basically for the engagement role. Like, oh, I'm going to set this house next door on fire. And, you know, depending on how that goes, you might get an extra die or two to the engagement role for the actual job.
Yeah, like a sub job. A side
Yeah.
job.
But in this case, we're going to go with basically keep it simple. Yeah. So let's look at an engagement role. So we're doing stealth. The point of entry is that window. It's at night. It's later at night when the debate thing is going on in the main hall of the boarding house. So let's go. All right. For engagement role, you get one die for luck. So one die for luck. So questions. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Or is it what's that?
I don't think it is. I mean, it's not like we're heisting a, bank
breaking
vault or
into a
something.
motel in the dead of night while other people are nearby, but they're pretty distracted.
Yeah. They're down in the bar. Everybody else in the hotel bar.
Yep. All right. So is it contingent on many factors or complex? I don't think so.
No.
All right. So no die removed. Does the plan detail expose a vulnerability of the target or place where they're weakened? I would say yes, because you know that there's going to be people gathering in that hall, and that's going to take a lot of the foot traffic out of the hallways, lessen the possibility of entanglements. So yeah, we'll give you an extra die for that. And there are no special protections or precautions this boarding house takes more than any other boarding house. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight in this operation? I think you're gathering information. Several of them have, so we're going to call that yes. That's an extra die. Are any enemies or rivals interfering with this operation? Not to your knowledge. Not that I brought up. No. Are there any other elements that you might want to consider? We're not doing tiers at the moment. This guy is not a member of a rival gang, so he doesn't have a tier for all intents and purposes. But we'll get into that at a later time. Basically, tier makes more powerful gangs have better stuff. Basically,
But we get better XP for going up against them.
True.
If we're not as good, the underdog bonus.
Yeah. So you guys are tier 0. This guy is not even in a gang, so we're going to call him tier 0. So no. So looks like you have 3 dice for your engagement roll.
Okay.
All right.
To me.
All right. So let's see here.
Who wants to roll it?
Yeah. Is there a button for that?
I think it's just the fortune roll.
Oh, fortune roll.
There's a button for the engagement roll.
Oh, is there?
Sure.
Really?
Is it on the crew, maybe?
Could be.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. So.
Yep.
Yeah,
there's a button for on the crew sheet.
Okay. So who wants to do it?
I can do it.
Oh.
All right. Cassie is being bold.
All right.
3 dice.
Yep. 3 dice.
Our luck is in your hands.
No pressure. Okay.
Doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck. All right. So 2, 4, 2. The highest die is a 4, which means it's your success, but partial success. So basically, you're what this lands you in the middle of is in the middle of the action. You basically were standing outside the window on the ground floor, obviously, or on the ground rather. It's a bunch of a group of 4 hooligans, kind of in the dark, who's kind of whistling, smoking a pipe or whatever as people go by, and suddenly you've come to a point in the night where in a time where there's like not a lot of people on the street. So suddenly you pick the right time, and you see Junker reach into her cloak, pull out this grapple gun, and hear a cheesh, and suddenly grappling hook basically goes up, crashes through the window, and you guys climb up. And for purposes of this, we'll basically, I suppose you don't all have to technically go in, but you're all here.
I would have been going inside, but
Gotcha.
like on the ground floor.
Oh, okay.
Which makes sense that we would cover the stairway in case he runs out before we get to him or
Okay.
get to the room.
Okay, but for purposes of engagement, we'll talk about the people who actually did the engagement. So who's going in?
Well, I'm going to be able to climb easier.
Yep, definitely.
Also, we should probably declare load before we start.
Yeah. What's your load?
So I was going light load.
Yeah.
Is that all I have to say? Is light normal?
Yep.
Right. Okay, so I'll say a light load, and do I have to decide what that is?
No. That's the point of the load. You don't have to until you decide you need something, and then you just take that item and cross the points off your load.
Oh,
So,
okay. So
yeah.
It's very video game like then.
Well, yeah, you don't have you don't have an inventory. Yeah, you don't have an inventory. You have things that you prepared for, if you will. Okay. And how about Mr. Cross? What's your load? You there? Hello?
I'd say light load.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. Yeah, this is not medium or heavy load type of day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did take normal myself.
Okay.
Got more stuff. But
yeah, we're cross 2 load off already for your grapple gun.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
and remember, if an item is if it's italicized, it is 0 load.
Gotcha.
Just for like Ocular, or if anyone, it's easy to forget.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So let's see how to do this. Okay, so area engagement. You go. So we have Fish and Junker going in the window. Yes.
Study survey. Those would probably be best, and I'll go in through the ground floor with
Peacock.
Yep.
Okay.
Just as backup.
Okay. So again, for purposes of this engagement, I'm gonna take this all into account. So all right. So yeah, basically the grapple gun breaks the window as it goes up, and you guys are you hear the and you guys are immediately climbing up. You guys get into the room. It's not lit. It's there is like a smoldering candle over on a table not too far away, but you guys are in and you've closed the remainder of the window. And meanwhile, on the coming from the other side, you guys have kind of popped in, look very casual, nodding to people, very just another couple of people going back to their rooms. And basically, as you get to the door of his room, basically you're converging. You see Norris, and he's in an argument with an old man there.
In the room or
outside the room? He's he's outside the room at the door, and he's like, "I don't care what you say. I owe you no money. We made a deal. You'll get your money when it's time."
I think I'll interject myself and I'll be like, well, gentlemen, hold up. There's no reason to be, come to blows or anything over a simple disagreement. Perhaps you just need a neutral third party like myself to help you solve it.
And they both kind of look over at you, and they consider, like, again, they're in the position of these two guys who were like kind of girding themselves to have this argument together, and suddenly there's a reasonable voice there. So as he does that, Norris turns the knob or unlatches the thing and opens it just a slightly ajar, which you, of course,
the door has been closed. Okay. Yeah.
it was
Oh,
closed.
I was wondering why he didn't notice the broken glass.
Right.
You know, he hasn't actually gone in yet. He's just cracked the door at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, so this is an engagement of 4. Again, so it's risky. So it's hard to make this more dangerous. Like if you gotten really bad, there would have been something else involved. But basically, this is not clean. The window's been broken. There's people who now know your face, at least 2 of your faces, that are going to remember you. That kind of thing. So you're at a risky place, and you still don't know where the book is or what's going on here. So the 2 guys outside are, they stop arguing like immediately, like he'd flipped a switch as you talk, Peacock.
Like, perhaps we should go downstairs. I have a fine bottle of brandy. We can discuss this and see why you're so upset.
Yeah, so
And I'm trying to, obviously sway them to, like, no, you don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to continue this. So, let's go downstairs and talk.
okay. So we'll do this first, and then we'll talk about what's happening inside the room, if anything. So all right. So that's let's make a roll. So you're basically, you're definitely trying to cajole them. I'm gonna call this again. You guys are not in a dangerous place. So this is not the most exciting of things. It's more of like who sees you at this point. But I'm gonna call it. Let's just for kicks. Let's call it a risky, because if it could go badly in that if this doesn't work out, things are going to potentially go bad for both you guys in the sense that they'll
involved somehow.
There'll be an even greater risk of cover being blown.
Right, or that door opens or something. So let's call it risky and limited effect. Basically, these guys, Norris particularly has a reason maybe not to go down. He doesn't have the book. This is where he lives, though. So he has a reason not to just go drink brandy because some rich dude's offering some awesome stuff.
So I can push for higher effect? Is that how things work?
Yeah, you can push yourself for 2 stress for higher effect.
I think I'm gonna totally lay on the charm here.
Oh, sure.
And be talking of how I'm such a great negotiator. I've bought and sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of items.
Yeah.
So I know how to get to the root of a issue and
blah,
blah, blah, blah,
so
blah, blah.
Yeah, and you happen to have somebody with you who can help if they want. You can assist. Do you care to? And how, if you do, how are you going to assist?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Could I assist with a survey roll? Taking the
No. Don't. Your assist doesn't require a roll. Just tell me if you're assisting and how you choose to assist.
So you wouldn't be rolling; you'd be adding a to my roll.
Yeah, you just have to justify that you're helping him to me.
Yeah, you take 1 stress.
And you take 1 stress. Yes, I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Cassie. See, Cassie, you're mastering this stuff. I'm impressed. Yeah, so if you're willing to take 1 stress, you can assist.
Okay. He's boosting to. I will assist.
What do you say? What do you do?
Exactly. Now that's the hard part.
Well, without that, I can't let you assist.
Yes.
You just loom behind him at his shoulder like a bodyguard.
I'll play the part of the diligent bodyguard to add to the fact that this is an important man. This is a man of means. This is a man who lend credence to his claims of he's very important. He's done so much business. I'm playing the role of dutiful bodyguard.
Okay. All right. So so you're pushing for effect. So that'll be standard effect.
Yep.
And so you get 1 bonus die for his assist.
And
also, if you actually use the fine bottle of brandy, you should get increased effect. Probably, I think.
I guess it depends on it.
This is
drinking it.
Yeah, this is just to get them down there.
I think
they're
that's
not.
I'd say the brandy might maybe if they can get him down there, then I can help later.
Right. And there's also I see a bonus die button. I'm not sure if that just takes the stress off for you on your character sheet, or if it adds.
I don't know, but there's a bonus die in the roll. So
okay, cool. Go for it.
yikes!
So 4.
Barely making 4.
All right. So success, but not a complete success. So the door closes. He comes back. He's looking at you, and you're basically trying to sway them to go downstairs. You got standard effect. So he'll like old man. Thank goodness. So more serene minds will lend some actual logic to this conversation. And he's like,
of course, arguing in the hall like peasants.
you kind of see him shiver like that. Just it's horrible. So yeah, they'll go down. But he's like, let's see. So how do we make the 4? This is the hard part for me. So you succeeded, so he'll go. But he's like, before I do, I just want to get something from my room.
Yep. There's a complication.
Yeah. That's a complication.
And you can resist this also. Any complication you can resist.
That's true.
Yes.
It's not just
Yeah, this is a social resist. So you can if you want.
So you can resist it. Let's see, what would it be? It would be
Resolve, probably.
Yeah.
So I would like to attempt to resist.
While this all is going on, two of us in the room who's hearing through the door. You know what's going on there, and so I'm thinking when he says, one possibility is when he says, there's just something I need.
Well, hold tight. Hold on. Let's put a pin in that. Basically, he's resisting. So right now, this may or may not actually end up occurring. You might not actually open the door. I suppose you can prepare for it if you wanted, because technically resistance isn't necessarily a. It doesn't change. It doesn't warp time. He still says it. Whether or not he does it is really the consequence here. So I suppose you can just kind of put a pin in that for the moment. We'll get to you.
All right.
So
what's the narrative way of resisting? Like, what's the?
You just tell me you'd like to resist this.
Okay.
And I tell you what that gets you.
Convince him that there's no time like the president to go through and get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, you don't even need to do that as your part. It's definitely nice to put some flavor on there, but all you need to do is basically say, "Oh yeah, I totally want to resist that."
Click on the resolve for that, right?
Let's see here. So this is yep, it's a resolve.
And I don't think I have any bonus dice that apply.
Nope. This is basically just to resist. So whatever you did just succeeded.
Oh, okay.
All right, so 4. So 6 minus 4 is 2, so you take 2 stress.
No.
Actually, I rolled 661, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm down. I was not down to the blonde. All right, so you take 0 stress for that.
I clear 1 stress, actually.
Oh, because it's critical?
He got critical.
If I only had stress, right?
I had 2 stress because I had pushed myself.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, get one back. Thank you. Sorry about that.
I had not eating out the palm of my hand.
Yes. So I hadn't scrolled all the way down. So yes. So he's like, I need to get something for my room, and then he kind of looks to you, and he's like, you can tell he's thirsty. He's like, door closes back completely, and he follows you. The old man and him. The old man is far more interested now in your brandy than whatever he was arguing about before. But now it's all about the brandy. So the old man is like leading the pack. He's down there.
And I mumble maybe over loudly like this shouldn't take too much time at all to resolve this, and we go downstairs.
Sure.
Hint, nudge, nudge.
Sounds good. All right. Meanwhile, on the inside, you hear I just need to get something from my room with the door cracked, and then suddenly door closes and the place is dark again. What do you do,
Uh,
people who are in the room?
light that smoldering candle.
I do want to make one suggestion to Doctor. I think you actually have an item that can help you see in the dark. A certain set of spectacles
I do.
as a
Uh,
lurk. I know that's why I wanted to double check. I looked
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, look on your play, like I said, look on your playbook, and you'll see like
Uh-huh.
lurk items, and one of them is that. So you have those items. Whether or not you want to, expend load to use them is up to you.
I do. I've got dark sight goggles.
Yep.
Okay. So what happens if I expend those?
Well,
Okay.
if you cross off however many load it requires, then you have them and you can put them on, and it does just what it says.
Okay. Uh, so I think there's a good chance that I was probably wearing these as I climbed up the rope since I've got them.
That's fine.
So I can just like click that and I've got them, right?
Yep. You had them the
Right.
entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It still makes sense to light the candle though, because I'm the only one with the goggles.
Well, I can just follow your lead, though.
Well, we got to search the room to see if the book is there,
Well,
right?
yeah. You can search the room and I can assist you, basically.
Sure.
Okay, how? It seems like the way to assist is to also help search the room.
Exactly. This is just short of a group activity. There's only two of you, so the best thing is to assist. But otherwise, if this was like a bunch of you, you could actually lead a group activity, which we'll get into at some other point.
You're using assist in the game sense,
Yeah.
in the roll the dice sense.
Well,
I
and
got it.
and
Okay.
and in the
So
real sense, and in the
I'm
real
going
sense of
for the-
helping you search.
Yeah.
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 So
No,
she's
but
helping you search, but that gives you mechanical advantage.
No, I just realized I think what was confusing me is I was hearing assist in the movie script sense, and I was
Okay.
thinking, well, how are you going to assist but this is assist in the game sense that by helping me search is the assistant.
Yes.
There you
I
go.
understand that right? Okay, all right, yeah,
Yep.
sure. So
Okay.
what does this mean?
It's worth pointing out. What are you thinking? What would be a good skill to use for assist, and who might be the best to do that?
But since there's only one person and she's just going to help
Yeah.
search the room, that doesn't matter. So what you Fish need to tell me is what action you're using. As a helper, the two that most come to mind are study and survey. Study is basically looking for tiny little details. Is you're on. Survey is kind of like reading the room, if you will, getting a feel for things, that kind of thing.
Well, this is where these points I've assigned is going to come into play, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so I gave 2 points to survey and none to study. So
I'd
I'm
say survey would
assuming
be your best bet.
Yeah. Is there anything finesse and item? Yeah, no, I don't trouble about. No. Okay.
You
Survey
could
sounds
attune to the ghost field and see if there's any like anything in the area that would point you in the right direction if this is some kind of arcane book or
spirits in the ghost field, channel electroplasm, perceive and communicate with
Yeah.
ghosts,
What would
understand spectrology. It doesn't. I have the impression. Sorry, what?
how many points do you have in attune? That'd be if you're not that good at it, it might be risky to do.
There was one in. I have one in attune
Okay.
and two in survey.
Yeah.
Uh,
So again, it's up to you. You can be as crunchy about it as you want, and basically
Yeah.
decide, use the one that you have most points in, as long as you can do it. So, like for example, you couldn't use tinker here. You can't tinker to find a book. You can't finesse to find a book. You can't prowl to find a book. You can't skirmish to find a book. So really, I mean, you can still select them, but I can say there's no effect to what you're doing.
Sure, yeah.
But you can they're
Just in the context of the book story, I like the idea of using a tune. It fits the whole
Yeah.
feel of who we are, and the blasphemous book would be perhaps giving off energy that
Can be seen in the ghost
uh,
field.
yes. So I guess I'll go with the tune. That sounds like a good choice. So what do I do?
Basically, you have your character sheet open. Now you can be let's see here. So what do you call it? Cassie can help you assist if she wants, if you want to attune. Just has to tell me how she would assist, if that's what you're kind of going for.
Okay, well, I have a dot and a tune too, so she knows how to do that.
Okay.
Uh,
Would you like touch his shoulder or kind of join minds with him as best you can, that kind of thing?
I'll say what she does is she takes out a vial of like silver powder, pours a little in her hand, and like blows it, and like sees where the energy is.
Okay. So nice.
Okay.
Very cool. All right. So she is assisting you in attuning once she figures out that's what you're doing.
mhm.
So you can push yourself for 2 stress. You can get 1 more die to add, or you can take a devil's bargain for me, but I would suggest a stress at this point.
Okay, so how do I take 2 stress? There's a little plus sign there. Do I just click
I
that?
think so. Again, I'm just kind of learning the sheet myself, so click that and see
Uh,
if stress pops up.
It didn't look like it.
that won't be. You have
Clicking that
to
did
mark the
anything.
stress manually.
Okay. Well, alrighty
That's
then.
over here where there are these little dagger shapes on the
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
The
Say
stress.
stress.
Yep. So
And I mark
Yeah,
2 of them.
mark 2 of them.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So you're going to roll a tune. So you're basically going to click on a tune
On the
and
word.
on the word attune.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's the first thing it asks you?
Position.
Position.
Position is
Risky,
risky.
control, desperate, fortune roll.
It's your position is risky. Next,
It is.
it is.
Do I have a choice? It is. Okay. Submit. Effect standard limited
Effect will be
grade.
standard.
Okay. Submit. Bonus dice
1.
is 0 right now, so
No,
it's
no,
1.
no, it's 1.
It'll be.
Oh, 2 dice. Sorry,
What
you have
you roll.
you have an assist and you push yourself, so 2.
Okay, so it's 2 dice. All
All right.
right. Submit.
All
All
right.
right. So what did we get?
All right. So the dust kind of blows in the air that Cassie blows. I keep reading. What's your nickname, Cassie?
Junker.
Junker. The Junker blows. So this dust kind of coalesces eventually as you're kind of concentrating and opening your mind to the ghost field, and you see a shape take form. And this shape, it's actually kind of, it's almost as if like the person is invisible and you pour paint on them. That's where you kind of start seeing basically all this all that silver dust kind of form the skin of the roughly shaped person. A ghost that you didn't see in the first place is not terribly strong, so it's kind of losing its ability to hold itself together. So yeah, so it's not exactly foreign, but you what do you call it? Fish. You see the silver dust come closer to you, the face portion, and it's like yeah, and it's like um you can't feel breathing, but it's kind of like that phantom limb syndrome, like the limb's gone but you can still feel it. It's like this thing is not breathing on you, but you just feel this
I can see
presence.
the breathing, but it's not. But my skin isn't
Yeah.
sensing it yet.
Yeah, one of the
Yeah.
interesting things about ghosts in this setting is they're basically floating clouds of electric mist.
Okay.
Gotcha. So the face comes up to you, and you hear this whisper. You can see me. You can
What?
see me, mortal.
All I can hear is a weird echo.
There's everybody else here.
Yeah,
I-
think
I-
that
I have no idea what the ghost is
I-
saying.
I made it out.
Okay.
I think your voice changes a little too intense.
I'll stop. All right, so you basically hear the whisper. You can see me, mortal.
Yes, of course.
He says, I saw you come in the window. What are you looking for? What do you want to see?
There's a book of arcane. Uh,
Spit it out, mortal. My time is fleeting.
There's a book of arcane knowledge about our deity, Shana. What's it? And it's in this room somewhere. We're looking for.
You see the head turn kind of side to side, and it's kind of hissing whisper. You'll find no arcane books here. Just a man trying to make money off of fakes. He says, his most expensive fake is right over there. You see that? You see that grate that brings in the heat? Pull it away.
Okay.
And
I pull it away.
yeah, he's like as you're kind of doing your thing, as you look over to it, you feel what do you call it? Junker actually sees the dust move, but you feel it. Suddenly he's touching you, and it hurts, and you're gonna take a level harm as he basically interacts with you. My name was Erasmus. Don't forget me. And he fades.
Okay.
So yeah, you feel like an electric burning on your like the back of your neck and ear area, which you can resist if you really wanted to.
I guess I don't understand what you said. Something. Is there a significant harm? Is there?
He did a point of harm to you, so you basically had one harm, right?
So one of your
Okay.
so on your sheet they'll see a little box that says harm at the top of it. It's just underneath your information.
Okay. Yeah.
So
And
so if you don't resist this, you must fill in one of on the level 1 area. You have to fill in one of the boxes with electrical burning, and you'll be doing less effect with future actions until you heal it up.
Okay. How long does it take to heal up?
It depends on what you
you have to
seek.
do, yeah, separate healing
Okay.
rolls. It's its own thing to heal harm, and
Yeah.
it's done
Okay.
in off the score
Well,
downtime.
what's the cost of resisting the harm?
It's making a resolve roll.
Okay.
And basically you roll the resolve, which you have one die in, and it will that, so whatever you roll, 6 minus whatever you roll is how much stress you take to resist this damage.
Yep.
Okay. Does stress ever recede, or does it only
Yes.
build up?
Yeah, we're going to be getting into that in downtime. You'll be indulging your vice, and your vice gets rid of stress.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try resisting then.
Well, you automatically resist. The resisting is not a roll that you can fail. So you absolutely resist. So I'll have you not put any damage on your sheet, any harm.
Okay.
But go ahead and let's see. Is there? Yeah. So basically, click on resolve. on your
coming
character
back.
sheet.
That would be on the stat.
The stat of resolve.
costs.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, just click
click,
one of those.
click. No,
On
no.
resolve.
Yeah, click on the word
spots.
resolve. Nope. Nope.
Okay.
You clicked on a XP for resolve. So unclick that.
It won't let me.
Yeah, there you
There
go.
we go.
Okay, so click on the word resolve.
Okay, bonus dice.
0.
Pick one. Oh, 0. Okay. Submit.
Submit. Okay, so you roll a 2. So, and it kind of explains if you look in the roller down there. Suffer 6 stress minus the highest die result. So you take 4 stress.
Wow.
So mark off 4 more stress on your stress bar.
Okay.
Yep. Resisting is good, but it can add up stress.
Yeah, you want to.
Okay.
You really don't want to fill up your stress track. It's very bad.
All right. Okay.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you feel the burn there, but it's not. It doesn't like manifest in the physical world. So yeah, that leaves you behind. So you guys are looking at the grate.
Yep. Can't take 9.
So yeah, who opens the grate?
I'll open the grate.
Okay. You kind of have to squint your eyes, kind of at the angle. There is some light coming from one of the lamps outside. But you do see what looks like like a tome pushed kind of far back, like about, a foot and a half into the thing.
Okay.
You grab that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it looks like, again, you have no idea exactly what this book looks like, but if you were looking for a book about like, forgotten God, this would probably be it.
All right.
Okay, so all right, so let's resolve this where we're at here. Just out of curiosity, how is the negotiation going on downstairs?
I think it's going well. I don't really care what the cause of their problem is, but it's probably over the price of a book or
Yep,
some service.
Yeah, one's a proprietor. The old guy's a proprietor of a crappy little shop that's probably gonna cease to be in a matter of weeks, if not sooner.
I think I'm trying to negotiate so that it's in favor of the proprietor, because if this guy has a book that we don't, that has blasphemy in it, then I don't want him to get the upper hand.
Gotcha. I don't think we need to really do a roll on that. That's just at this point, you already kind of succeeded in at least getting the ball rolling here. Just for kicks, let's roll a fortune roll and see how he does. So, just roll like 1 die.
I would say, in this case, since I'm using the, I think in my case, the useful item of the bottle of brandy, that might increase the effect, since they're both kind of trashed. But
gotcha. Well, so this is just a fortune roll. There's no real effect per se. But yeah, let's roll 2 then. Let's include that brandy you came up with. That's a good idea. In fact, normally, in retrospect, I would even call that like a flashback. Like you could, in this case, like, hey, if you, I forgot, I totally brought this really expensive bottle of brandy along, and I bought it from a purveyor before I left.
Yeah, I mean, I have on mine like a useful item as a.
That's his useful item.
Okay.
He has a slide fine brandy.
Oh, you do have that as like a load item.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, that not being the case, that's a good example of a flashback.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool.
For that roll, though.
I mean, it might not go exactly the way I want, but
Yeah, so basically at the end of the conversation, Norris gets up and he pounds his fist on the table. He's like, "Ha!" And he just points that finger at that old man. The man looks like, he just lost at least a day or so off of his life. He's just aghast. It ends with basically, the Norris is
Swindled them.
has swindled him basically. He's like,
Alas.
he's like,
Poor old man.
it's like, he's like, try another day, old man. He kind of has that self-satisfied smirk about him. He looks over at Peacock. He's like, good man, good man. He reaches out to shake your hand.
I do.
Excellent.
And
And
after
you,
he leaves, I turn to
Mhm.
Breaker. I'm like, I think we should leave now.
excellent. On the other crew, the other half of the crew rather, what are you guys doing?
No, I think we're climbing out the window
All right.
with the potentially counterfeit book.
Fair enough. All right. Just for kicks, because you're kind of exposed on the ground. Let's see. So let's do a roll to get out of there.
I was going to suggest we do a group prowl roll.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you're going yourself. That would make sense. So I suppose
But
2 is technically a group.
yeah, we're doing
I think.
it with, in order for it to affect us both, we had to do a group roll.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So who is going to be the leader of this group roll, and how are you going to get out there?
I'll lead it since I have less stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are we doing? What action are we doing to get out of there to escape this scene?
Well, we're doing a prowl, and I'll just climb down off of the building, down my rope, and then pull the hook off, and then we'll just like try to slink away.
Okay.
Disappear into the shadows.
All right. So let's see here. So you basically you'll both roll. Sounds like you're prowling. You want to use a prowl?
Yes.
Okay. So basically you both roll prowl. The highest die is the one that counts. And for the leader, in this case Junker, you'll take stress based on if fish fails or not.
All right. Yeah. I think I take stress if I fail too, don't I?
No, I believe it's just to cover any of the group that fails.
Yeah. So don't worry about that.
Okay.
You're basically making up for their mistakes, and it's taxing you.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and roll prowl.
Okay, so I roll prowl.
Yeah, both of you do.
Okay. Position risky. Is this set by default? Is that a choice that I
Yeah.
made?
So risky and standard are the defaults. So that's what this will be. A risky position, standard
Okay.
effect.
Standard effect. Bonus dice
0.
0.
Correct.
I've got two dots in prowl.
That doesn't count under bonus dice though. Those are dice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I
Regular
just submit them. Okay. All right.
Okay. So let's see. So the highest roll is a 5. So that's a partial success. What do you call it? Fish didn't fail. Did it go under 3? So you don't take any extra stress, Junker. And that leaves us with the getaway. Basically, you guys are you're seen by a blue coat patrol as you kind of it's like that just the properly inappropriate time as Junker is now hitting the button to retract the cable, and the cable kind of zip and cracks back to its like housing, and that's right when the blue coat turns the corner and is like, and you can just see you guys lock eyes for just a second, and he gives you that look like really. And you guys will take an extra, I think an extra 2 heat for that. Actually, let's call it 1 heat. Unless you want to resist. You can resist any what I'm looking for. People help me with the English.
Any consequences?
Consequences. You can resist any consequence you like 1 time. If it's low, if it's a low consequence to begin with, it'll probably go away. If it's a high consequence, like high damage or something, you may just downgrade it to a less horrible one, but you can always resist the consequence. So kind of keep that in mind. So yeah, so that's where we find ourselves. You guys escape, but you're seen a couple times, or you had a couple
Can
heat
I
to it.
can I resist with insight that I could just take away that doesn't
I
go back into the alleyways and avoid the blue coat?
Well, we can do like a flashback where you well actually I don't know if that really helps you. I don't think a flashback technically helps you in this case. You can basically resist with in this case prowess. Yeah, resist with prowess and the problem goes away. But a flashback wouldn't quite help you in this case, I don't think. I'll have to read up on that for next time. But if you'd like to resist, go ahead and resist with prowess, please.
Okay, I'll try
It
that.
doesn't. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you resist it. So you get 2 stress. So mark off 2 stress. And instead of the heat, basically the guy sees you, and he just kind of shakes his head. This is like, you know, he has better things to do than stop the equivalent of like kids shoplifting candy from that local corner store or whatever. So he kind of goes on his way. He's probably getting off shift anyway. But again, as you notice, the resistance didn't change reality. He still saw you. It's just a matter of what's the consequence of that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right.
I forgot about that.
All right. So,
what was heat? I don't understand what that's.
That would
Okay.
be something we would resolve during downtime.
Yeah. So heat is how much legal problems you're getting in, how much notice by the outside world and the law are you taking?
Is there some place where heat is tracked?
Yep.
Yes, it's
On
on the
the
coup sheet.
It's on the coup sheet. And definitely read your book, Dr. Oculari.
Okay,
Read
okay.
that darn book. You can do it.
Oh, I've read it, but it basically goes in one eye and out.
All right. Okay. So you guys get back to your lair.
There it is. Yeah.
You had the book, your congratulatory guffaws and slaps to the back. I'm assuming you'll give it to the adepts at this point, or no? What's your plan with the book?
I imagine Tucker at least look through it before she gives it to anybody.
Okay. Do you want to study it real quick or something like that? What is your goal here?
Um,
What are you trying to do? What are you trying to get out of this? Are you just trying
I
to
guess I just want to see
what's your goal? Okay.
we'll study. Well,
You don't
just to see.
Yeah, you don't have to study. You don't have to make an action roll if it's not consequential. If you just kind of want to look through it, you can definitely do that.
Yeah,
I want to see what it says about Shanas.
yeah.
Okay.
He said it was a fake, so I assume it's nothing interesting. But I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. So who wants to study it?
Yeah, I guess that's the goal. I want to see if it's a fake or if it's a real book.
Okay. As a note,
That'd be a study.
yeah, and as a note for this kind of thing, you do have your adepts. That's part of what they do. So if you want to, you can use them as tools, or you can do it yourself. That's fine. So do you want to, Junker? You want to study it and have Peacock assist you? You guys can both you guys both sit side by side, drinking a little wine as you're, mulling over the pages, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So just for flavor, Peacock, can you describe your assist?
Actually, let me take the stress for that and assist him because I want to get enough stress so I can do
Okay.
indulge my vice.
Okay. So what? How do you assist then, Junker?
Well, the same. I'll just the same thing. I'm just sitting down and helping them study and taking notes and stuff.
That's cool. And you're definitely the one to take notes. You're the tinker, the inventor, the researcher. That's cool. All right. Okay. So yeah. Let's see.
And you said risky effect, or Or is it not risky?
No, this is again, this is a very controlled study. And you guys are taking all the time you want, so I'll give you great effect. There's no time limit on your study here. Cool. So far. All right. So you kind of so let's see. So you basically you were able to tell that it does reference your goddess here and there. You know what, as a noble, you learned several different languages. Just it's like, kids and rich kids learning Latin back in the day, type of thing. You might know some ancient Arcosian type stuff, that kind of thing. And you see it's like syllabic, where it's like, you sound out the word using the symbol, and you see the name of your goddess there several times scattered throughout. But yeah, so it does mention your goddess. You really aren't sure of like veracity. But you can
Well,
definitely, it's definitely referencing your goddess.
I mean, the fact that it's a counterfeit could be an
Is that a fact?
significant part of what's blasphemous.
Mhm. Well, again, do we know it for 100% positive fact that it's a fake?
Nope.
Well, but what I'm saying is the very fact that it's fake could be what's blasphemous. It's telling lies about the goddess.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I think at the end, Ramiro pushes away. He's like, well, this is about my ability to decipher. Hopefully Celeste can figure it out.
Yeah, you definitely get. You definitely, again, you succeeded, so you definitely are able to decipher enough where you see. Actually, no, I'm sorry. You did get great effect. I apologize. It's not in the control sense. It's not a full effect. So yeah, I'll be able to say it. You can kind of, as you kind of note pages here and there, you can kind of see how like things are repeating. It's almost like someone was trying to fill pages at one time. So this is probably a counterfeit. Probably. It does mention the goddess a few times. But as to the specifics, you just don't have everything you need to kind of pull that together. But if you had to make a bet, you would probably bet your entire fortune right now that this was a fake.
Yeah. So should we just destroy it, or do we need to send it back to Celeste?
And at that point, as you're sitting around, kind of all hovering around it, you hear, "What is the contents of the book?" The two adepts are standing there.
Christoph and Laurette. Like, it's unknown, Lady Celeste. It definitely mentions our goddess multiple times, but the book itself appears to be a forgery.
Ah.
Or sorry, a counterfeit.
I see. Trying to besmirch the goddess's name. He will be dealt with. Burn it. No, or better yet, submerge it in the waters.
Yeah.
That's more appropriate.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So
the tide carry the trash away.
Yeah. So we're at a point now where we've completed the score, and now it's time to figure out what happens. We don't have a whole lot of time left. I want to let you guys go on time at 10. So let's get as far as we can. Let's see here. All right, so downtime. Let's see here. So basically, we're switching into the mode where the score is done, and now we got to figure out what happened because of it, or what you guys are doing with your spare time now, which you're now in. So the first thing is payoff. you basically get money. Probably several days later, a courier comes by to some drop-off zone you guys have. Again, your place is a hidden layer type of dealio. So no one knows where you are, but they do know where to get money to you and other items when they can't do it through the adepts.
Various
So
dead drops here and
yeah,
there. Yeah.
exactly. So a few days later, you get a message from one of the some street urchin runs by one of you and says check number 6 or something like that.
Mm.
So you guys basically go and you go to this place, and we're basically gonna call the payoff for this 4 coin. So coin is just an abstract amount, generally speaking, of money. It takes up space, which is why you can't have like 100 coin just laying around ever. Let's see. So, for example, 4 coin is a small job, a strong box worth of silver and other valuables. Basically, you basically get a strong box dropped off. We're not gonna. I think this is just too to not to be punny, but encumber. Encumber. Yes, too much encumbrance here. It's basically too much to worry about how much you can transport at one time and that kind of thing. I don't want you guys having to worry about having to hire people to carry your coin around to do simple things.
You can carry 4 coin on your person.
Gotcha. Yeah, but
And you can.
yeah. Point being, I don't want it just I don't want the weight of the coin, no pun intended, to drag us down. So yeah. Okay, so 4 coin. You guys can divide it as you like. Let's see here.
Also, I was going to ask you, I'm pretty sure we start with 2 coin in our vault on our base.
Yes, you do. In fact, I'll pop that on there real quick while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I just popped it on there.
Oh, good. Oh, Doc, you're changing the Game Master sheet, huh? Okay then. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Stakes have raised.
Yes. No.
Game has
No,
changed.
thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So yeah, so 4 coin. You can, at this time, you aren't being shaken down by anyone. You don't owe anyone, so you can divide it up amongst yourselves as you see fit.
Yeah, just give everybody 1 coin. Probably be fine.
Okay, if that's it.
Start, just so we have some bribe money if we need it.
Yep. So yeah, distribute it how you like.
So does that mean I can put there's a coin section?
Yep, it'll be on your character sheet underneath underneath the healing clock.
Yeah,
that's where it would go.
You just click one of those boxes.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so everybody's decided. You guys have decided everyone gets 1 coin in addition to the 2 in your vault. All right. Cool. All right, so you paid you off. Heat. So let's see. Basically to reflect, you basically witnesses, evidence, etc. And not have to again focus on this because this is not a detailed game. This is a broad strokes game. So heat is just stuff that made you guys memorable or you left behind or whatever. So it's just represented by an abstract number. So in this case, we're going to call this, let's see, smooth and quiet. Yeah, I mean, this is a 0 heat, like, job. That was low exposure. You weren't in any, the only thing you left behind is a broken window, pretty much, and a dude with a hangover from some really awesome brandy. So, I mean, this is not the most dangerous of jobs. We'll call it 0 heat, but you did accrue 1 heat through one of your gain information rolls. So basically, so we'll pop 1 heat onto the crew sheet. Let's bring that up real quick, just so I'm familiar with that. All right, so Game Master. All right, so where are we with heat? I really should learn this. Okay, here we go. All right, so 1 whole heat. So good job. You guys did a good job. You basically didn't bring down too much. Nobody really noticed you were there or cared for the most part. That's heat. Let's see here. We don't have to worry about incarceration or claims at the moment. Entanglements.
Rep 2.
Pardon me?
think we might have gotten some. Did we get any rep?
You will get
Besides,
some. You will get some rep, but not yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Oh,
Don't get out of me.
sorry about that.
Don't get out of me. So entanglements first. So this is So again, entanglements. Your scoundrels and crew didn't just spring into existence tonight. You have a complex history of favors, commitments, deeds, blah blah blah. To reflect this, after your score, you now roll dice to find out which entanglement comes calling. Might be a rival crew, blah blah blah. So basically, this is after he is determined, make a fortune roll. Let's see here. And you aren't wanted, so let's see. So the roll number of dice equal to the wanted level, and use a result of the roll to select. Yeah. So let's see. So basically, you guys have 0 wanted level. So I'll have one of you do a fortune roll with 2 dice, and take the lowest of the 2.
I will do this roll.
Excellent.
2 dice.
Cool. All right. So you got a 2. Gang trouble, the usual suspects in this case. I'm gonna say that the gondoliers, or you kind of get word that the gondoliers are looking for fish in particular. No real other information besides that, but yeah, there's the gondoliers are looking for fish by name. That'll be the entanglement. Let's see. There's no arrests going on. Let's see here. So now we do downtime activities, and this is going to take some time. So we're probably going to have to wait till next session for this. But downtime activities are things you can do with your spare time. Acquire assets. You start doing long-term projects. Junker's probably going to be doing some of those as she, crafts things or invents things. Recover, which is heal, that kind of thing. Reduce heat. You can actually everyone gets 2 of these downtime actions, and you can reduce heat if your heat's getting too high. You can train, which gives you experience points in whatever you train in, and and you can also choose to indulge your vice, which gets rid of stress. But we'll take care of all that next session. We just run out of time. So yeah, so that's once we do downtime activities. Let's see here. And let's see here. And we do get rep. I think you just get a kind of a blank 2 rep, I think, just per score.
This is a minor score, and we did get one heat, so we'll still get some rep.
Gotcha.
One died.
Yep. Let me just find rep. Page is on. Let's do this real quick because we're already past our time.
46.
46.
Yeah, payoff.
Okay. Oh, in the pay part. Let's see here. Record coin. Okay. Yeah, the current is 2 rep by default. The score is a higher tier or lower tier. Yeah, you guys are the same tier for all intents and purposes. So we'll put 2 rep on the character sheet for the crew. Just pop it on there real quick. There we go. 2 rep. And that's it for now. Cool. All right. Yeah, let's end this up here. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. This was awesome first actual not session 0, but this awesome first session. We're actually seeing our characters in play, which is pretty freaking cool. So thank you for watching. This is the channel is Scott's Case Files. If you're interested in seeing more, we do this every Thursday night until we hit 10 sessions. You can see my schedule and all the other stuff down there. If you're watching on Twitch, join Discord, join my Twitter, all that kind of good stuff. I always put updates out there in Twitter, and we do just chatting on Discord, so definitely go there if you're interested in that. Otherwise, you definitely follow if you like. And we'll say goodbye. Start over here with we got Neocree.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yes.
Stay tuned for more mayhem.
Yes. And Dr. Oculari.
Goodbye.
Yes,
See
thank
you
you.
next time.
Yes. We got Cassie Mouse.
Yes, bye.
And last but not least, we have Steve. It's like all these names and it's Steve. Oh, also, I promised Dr. Oculari. Let's see here. There we go. So Dr. Oculari also has a Twitch channel. Please watch him, follow the channel, all that kind of good stuff. He does video games mostly, and now he's doing this. Maybe we can get him into running games. Who knows? But there's his cool banner. I think it's really cool. And we will see you all soon. So have a good night, all.
Good night.
Okay, see you next week.
Bye for now.
See you later.
Take care, everyone.